In this video, you'll explore a few methods for transforming artwork, including reflecting, shearing, and rotating. You'll assemble this rocket using the pieces on the left. With the latest version of Illustrator CC open, open this practice file from the downloadable practice files for this tutorial to follow along. Then choose View, Fit All in Window. You'll start by flipping artwork. To zoom in, select the Zoom tool and drag across the artwork. With the selection tool selected, click the flame shape on the left. Now the flame shape is only half drawn. It needs to be copied and then flipped to create the second half. With the shape selected, choose Edit, Copy, and then Edit, Paste in Place. There's now a copy on top of the original. In the Properties panel, select the bottom center point of the reference point. That means this shape will flip across this point. Click the Flip Along Vertical Axis button to reflect or flip it across the bottom center point of the shape. Now, to rotate these shapes, drag across them and move the pointer just off of one of the corners. When the rotate arrows appear, drag to rotate. As you're dragging, press the Shift key to constrain it to 45 degrees. And when it looks like this, release the mouse button and then the key. Drag the orange flame shapes you see here into the center of these yellow shapes. Smart Guides should let you know when they're aligned. If you don't see your Smart Guides, you can choose View, Smart Guides. Click Arrange in the Properties panel and choose Bring to Front, so the orange shape is on top of the yellow shapes. Then drag across all of these shapes and click Group in the Properties panel to keep them together. Now another way to flip or reflect artwork is to use the Reflect tool. These rocket shapes are only half drawn, and they need to be copied and reflected to create a whole rocket. Creating artwork this way can make perfectly symmetrical artwork. With the selection tool selected, click to select this group. Press the Rotate tool in the Tools panel on the left, and select the Reflect tool. The crosshairs you see in the center of the group is where it will reflect around by default. This artwork should actually reflect around the right edge. That way you don't have to move the copy after it's reflected. Move the pointer over the right edge of the artwork. When you see Path, click to set the Reflect Around point. Then begin dragging out here to start reflecting and rotating. Don't release the mouse button yet, but press the Option and Shift keys on macOS or Alt and Shift keys on Windows to copy it and constrain it to 45 degrees. When it looks like this, release the mouse button and then the keys to copy and reflect the artwork. Select the Selection tool and drag this triangle onto the top of the rocket. Now, drag this small blue circle onto the rocket. You need to create a total of 3 of these little windows using the circle that are evenly spaced. To zoom in, select the Zoom tool and drag across the artwork. Select the Selection tool, press Option on Mac or Alt on Windows, and drag a copy to the right. When the magenta Smart Guides show, indicating it's aligned with the center, release the mouse button and then the key. Now to make a third circle, you can simply repeat the transformation you just did. To do that, choose Object, Transform, Transform again. Now the final step is to add this window. You'll apply a shear transformation to make these lighter blue rectangles look like a reflection in the window. Click to select them, then press the Scale tool and select the Shear tool. Once again, you'll see a point that you will transform around. Drag to the right to shear them. As you drag, press the Shift key to constrain the movement. When they look something like this, release the mouse button and then the key. With the Selection tool selected, drag across the window shapes, then drag them into the center of the rocket. Choose View, Fit All in Window so you can see everything, and drag the flame shapes onto the bottom of the rocket. Select the rocket by dragging across all of it. Click Group in the Properties panel so it stays together, then drag it onto the artwork on the right here. Choose 330 from the Rotate menu in the Properties panel so you can rotate it, and drag it into position. There really are a lot of ways to transform artwork, and the more you know, the easier it'll be for you to be creative in Illustrator. You can close this open file and save it if you want.